everybody, Gabriel here. It's been a while since I posted a video here for you guys, and I come back with one for you now. I think it's a pretty cool one. I think you're gonna dig this one, and I will actually be more regular here in the group. I got tons of stuff coming up that I think you're gonna love it. So in today's video, what I really wanted to approach is, again, the subject that I use a lot and I talk a lot about this, about layers, and not be kind of stuck with the vertical kind of approach to chords and seeing them more horizontal and kind of layers and things like that. I talk about these all the time, but I'll be particular about this particular topic that I'll cover today. That came up from a student the other day. They was asking questions, and I kind of went into that, and I think it's worth sharing with you guys because it's a pretty cool thing you can do. So I just basically not really thinking about chords as vertical, and again, I talk about this all the time, but I'll give you a few hints and a few strategies to kind of come up with different sounds that you don't necessarily notate as chords. So it comes with the fact that guitar is a little more it's a little limited compared to piano as far as harmony and the things that piano can do, stretching out harmonies and things like that. So from that limitation comes a great opportunity actually to be very sparse and not really telling, and be kind of a almost like impressionistic in a way, kind of blur the lines a little bit of chords by playing less notes, dyads instead of triads, just kind of two notes, sometimes one at some point, and kind of add a bass line that comes in and gives a context and shape and things like that. And guitarists do that a lot. I will quote like a couple of guitarists that I really love that do that quite a bit. Kurt Hasselwinkel is one of them that uses that approach a lot in his compositions, playing trio, guitar, bass, drums. And the great Bill Frisell, which I also love, also do some of that, which is playing less notes on the guitar and really kind of open up the bass to come in and come up with different solutions. And they also frees up when you have another melodic instrument on a, like say on a quartet like this, guitar, bass drums, and then a saxophone comes in, like a tenor. Kurt uses that format a lot, bass, drums, guitar, saxophone, and things like that, or a trumpet or some melodic instrument that will come in and has less of a, sort of a given terrain to walk on. It's very, sparse and blurred in a way, like using two notes or something like chord. Then you can really bring up a lot of ideas melodically when you have more of a sparse harmony thing going on. So I'll give an example when you can use even a diatonic approach, if you will, because the bass will kind of give you that hint. This is my cat trying to come in here, by the way. Let me open for him here. So if I take, let's say, two notes, like an interval of a fifth, like G and D, that's what I was using. I can give it a diatonic, like a tonal kind of, dressing on that. So I can do, let's say G, I can do, kind of this riff I just came up with. Like this thing, right? So I'm not playing the thirds of the chord. I'm not kind of giving you the full chord. I'm giving you a hint of what that is, and the bass is taking care of, kind of carrying the harmony through in a very subdued way, Of course, if I'm doing that, I am kind of hinting at this, like, right? That sort of G major diatonic tonal thing, G over B, and then C major, and then D can be, like a sus, or it can be a, a regular or a seven or whatever you want. But you see, I'm kind of hinting at that, but I'm not playing all those notes. I am just kind of give you enough to hint at what it is, and the bass is coming in and kind of finishing the job, if you will, that with this approach. But it can also be a little more non-functional and kind of use those bass notes to hint at chords that I wouldn't necessarily notate. You know, I can try to, but if you play these chords, let's say for a pianist to play, and try to chord symbol them, you know, the result ultimately will probably sound a little different because I'm playing less. So I'm kind of stripping down harmony and kind of going down to a very basic idea that the bass come in and complete and finish, right? So I can do something like this, the same structure of that. I can do, let's say, kind of a different vibe, like, let's say, so I'm literally only playing the G, so this G note and the D, like a fifth interval, right? And I'm letting the bass notes come in and creating context, just giving it context to this melody. So if I would go ahead and try to notate that sequence, you know, let's say, how would I notate this? It's not G major and not G minor, so it's G5, I guess I would say. We can notate that as G5 maybe. And then I do this passing thing with an A. This is what kind of passing chord is that? And then I go here with the B flat. What is this? Is this G minor over B? Or is this G major with a 6? You know what I'm saying? You kind of get into that really kind of gray territory, which is where we want to be in this case, right? So I am not giving it all. I am giving a little bit of it. And the bass coming in gives some context, but man, that gives a super kind of nicely incomplete, you know, picture that then like a saxophone can be phrasing freely, kind of hinting on all kinds of colors and scales and things. And that's really cool. And I use this a lot in on those guitar players that I really love, like Kurt Hosowinko, Bill Frisell. I love those guys, and they use that kind of strategy when they play, you know, trio, you know, guitar, bass, drums. You know, sometimes Kurt uses like a saxophone also in that mix, and then you have a saxophone come in and play over that. You know, Bill Frisell is a singer, uses some more instrument. But you see the point, right? So you get this basic intervallic idea, just two notes. It can be, you know, it can be other intervals too if you want. You know, I can do, let's say, a fourth instead of a fifth. I can do a fourth. I can do. Whatever you want, right? See, I use a fourth instrument, I kind of play with the bass. But if you're playing with a really creative band, with creative drummer and stuff, you know, can do a lot of that. So basically kind of setting the stage for people to kind of, you know, explore their creativity by not kind of tying them too much about a particular structure of chords. You know what I'm saying? So just basically giving them enough of things that can create a mood or a vibe or whatever, right? If you listen to those guys I'm talking about, Kurt Hosowinko and Bill Frisell, they use a lot of that approach. So that's kind of the idea here, right? So I did this. Can create all kinds of things with that. You know, I use that a lot to some recordings, arranging the things I did. I use this kind of approach. You know, another thing you can do is, you know, use more intervals. You can do, you know, I did a fifth, but you can use 2/5. You can use even like a quarter, like a fourth kind of chord approach. You know, this kind of thing. You can notate some of these chords, but this voicing is very specific, and sometimes you want that, you know. I can, you know, change the voicing and do a more, take this note and put it here. So I can do a more of a secondo kind of, you know, second-ish kind of harmony. That kind of thing. And then I can do, you know, doing that here will be. You see how much color you can get out of this? You know, this is quite simple idea, but just the fact that I kind of stayed back from the idea of vertical chords. Okay, here's a chord, here's a structure, here's another chord, here's another chord. I'm just kind of playing a solid element here, this particular set of notes, and then I'm just adding basses at will, if you will, you know. And you can do that yourself, or you can have a nice bass player to do that for you. But this is kind of the general idea, right? To take structure and play with it, adding a bass, so you kind of dissociate that idea with the chord structure that you learn a lot, a C major, a C minor, or whatever. So that's the idea, taking an interval and messing around with it. Okay, so that's what I would love to share with you guys today. I have this PDF available if you want to kind of take a look at this particular example I gave and then play around with them. Again, you gotta have the hashtag, right? And the hashtag for this would be melody chord. Instead of chord melodies, hashtag melody chord. And then I'll send the PDF to you. I hope you enjoy this. Let me know what you think, you know, in the comments with the hashtag. I'll come up with more lessons for you guys, and I will be back soon this time, I promise. So, my fellow YouTubers, you digging the lesson, but to get the PDF, I really invite you to come to the Facebook group that I have. It's free. You just have some questions at the entrance to get in and have access to that. Because in there, the video, you have to type the hashtag in the comments in order for me to give you the PDF. So if you like this lesson, please go to the Facebook group here. Here's the link here on the screen, so you can join. It'll be in the comments as well. So please join us there. I'm posting a lot of stuff there, and I'm gonna post some of these videos here now, but the actual meat, like the PDFs and things, you have to be in the group to take advantage of that and catch the PDFs that I'll send to you personally. All right, enjoy.